Sleep, sleep in peace and rest.
20 years ago, on April 13, 2006, a great light dimmed and Usho Kingdom lost a noble son. Today marks 20 years since the passing of Chief Oladipo Abitogun, the Oladimeji of Usho Kingdom. A man of honor, he was a respected family man, a voice of wisdom, a pillar of strength in the community, and a devoted father whose love knew no bounds. 20 years on, you are deeply missed by your children, who remember your care, protection, and sacrifices, who cherish your counsel and uphold the values you live by. Though time has passed, your legacy remains unshaken. Your name still commands respect, and your footsteps will guide generations. As your children, families mark this 20th remembrance, we honor a fulfilled life and a legacy that death could not erase. Chief Oladipo Abitogun Kareo Omota Paramuda Omalalabiowa. As the years roll by and generations rise, your name continues to speak for righteousness. May your life remain a lesson in service, and may your memory forever be a source of strength to all hear your name and walk your path. Announcer, the children.
All right, let's get into this. 20 years has passed since the passing of the great uncle of the Abitogun dynasty. I know you have a lot to say on this. I'm going to have you take the charge. Showing on the screen, by the way, is a picture of High Chief Oladipo Ojo Abitogun, who passed on back in 2006. But go ahead and take it away, sir.
Oh, thank you so much, Ola. And we would, instead of continuing to mourn him and the 4 others who died in that unfortunate carnage, the road wreck on that unfortunate eve of Good Friday, April 13th, 2006, we will choose to celebrate him, to continue to cherish his vision, his passion, and his legacies. He was my brother. He was my elder by 27 solid years. But because of the way we were raised in our family, he was daddy to all of us. And we want to thank his children for allowing us to share that honor of seeing him as our dad. Because if somebody was my elder by 27 years, his first child, his first son, was much older than me by 4 years. The second child, the daughter, my contemporary, but older than me by 10 days. So naturally, I saw him as dad. But not just that. The way he was raised, the circumstance of his birth, he was born at the old maternity that used to be called OK in Akure in those days, at the old maternity at Okeda in Akure. But a child of the basins of Ogbese River, native of Usho, because of where our father hailed from. But he grew up traversing the plains of Usho, Ayede Ogbese, Obaile, Akure, Ikole Ekiti, so many places. For us, it was the unequaled pathfinder. The second child of my father was, people talk of a multi-generational consciousness in a family. That is the family into which we were born. Whether you're talking of our side, to the Ojomoluda royal household, or you're talking of us establishing and securing our place in Usho as the descendants of Elemogbodi, coming from Eleorokun, Ajila, and all of them. My brother was raised with that kind of consciousness. And education was at various stages. St. Andrew's Primary School, Anglican Primary School, Usho. Later, Imade College, where he had the unique opportunity alongside others in his generation of being under the tutelage of late Chief Michael Adekunle Ajashin as their school principal. And from there, he went to Molusi College, Ijebu Igbo, for his higher school certificate, advanced level. And from there, he also attended the then School of Agriculture, Akure, where he had an ordinary diploma in agriculture. So he just wasn't an intellectual. He was not just eminently educated, attending Bishop's College in Dallas, where he graduated summa cum laude, studying English language and political science. And his master's was later at North Texas State University in Texas as well. And he did, I think, public affairs or something like that. I will remember. But he was a man of many parts: poet, traditionalist, and a Christian. Initially, while in the United States, it was during the years of civil rights consciousness and marches, and he experienced his own culture shock, and then he had his Christian faith challenged. But before he left this world, he had embraced his faith back, a solid man of Anglican convictions. Now, concerning the kind of man he was, a thoroughbred administrator who rose through the ranks. At some point, he also loved journalism, but he moved quickly from that, being a teacher at commercial secondary school, Akure, when he first arrived in Nigeria in 1975. And then he moved again to rising through the ranks as somebody who was well grounded in public affairs and administration. At some point, he was under secretary with Code of Conduct Bureau. At some other point, he was director this, director that. But let me give you one solid example, Ola, where Chief Abitogun really proved that if he had not been a civil servant, he would have progressed in the hick or the consciousness of somebody like Gani Fawemi, Femi Falana and co. He stood for the rights of so many people and he shunned corruption. So many people will look at him and they describe him as Abijah and they'll say this and that. But he wasn't fighting for selfish interest. He loved to protect the interests of people. When he was seconded or when he was posted to Ondo State Pensions Board, he saw what was going on there, the graveyard for the entitlements and benefits for contemporary civil servants. He decided to flip the whole thing over. He attracted so many enemies. They told lies against him with the then military governor in the state, and they placed him on suspension. Ultimately, they find out that this man was blameless, that he actually should be celebrated, which is why when people say a huge loss to Usho Kingdom, or Baile, or what have you, no, I don't share such sentiment. It was a big loss to Nigeria, to Africa, Ondo State in particular. Now, that same day, remember our cousin and my personal friend, Dr. Abitogun, died alongside with him in the car wreck. His two grandchildren, the children of Brawale, his first son, died in the same accident. Then his driver. But let me tell you one thing. Chief Abitogun was clairvoyant. He had a strong foreboding that he could die that day. I mean, Doctor and I spoke till the not the last minute, but very early hours of that day. I woke up in the United States. I placed the call to him, and Chief Abitogun, to be my big mentor, I was asking Doctor, well, you people said you're leaving for Akure for Easter celebrations today. What is keeping you? Oh, he said, of course, you know your brother. You know our brother now, the way it is. Everybody is still appealing to him now. He said he would not allow the driver to drive him. I said, why? He said, because our brother Chief Abitogun had said that driver was behaving in a funny way, driving like he was commissioned to come and annihilate him, to kill him.
Wow.
And I would not allow him to drive him. And then that people were still prevailing on him, they were still begging him. That was the last discussion I had with Dotun that day. I, with my then wife, headed for Joplin in the state of Missouri to attend to some things. By the time we came back, the sad news had broke that they all had died in that unfortunate car wreck. And typically, if you are going to begin to look at the condition of the human, if you're going to assess the human condition in Nigeria, what speed would make somebody to go under a stationed, articulated truck? The point at which Okegele Junction, the junction to Babaye Bell's area in Usho, on the highway to the Usho Grammar School major turn into Usho. That's less than a minute stop. What kind of speed would make a man to run into a puddle of water that covered the whole windscreen and that got him under that vehicle? Now, that is one situation there. My brother also did so much in fighting corruption in Nigeria. He would be paying, there were times on motion, he would stop to challenge the way Nigerian police and what have you were extorting road users and drivers. And it would be a place that, as somebody that was working, or that was a federal commissioner with the Revenue Mobilization and the Fiscal Allocation Commission in Abuja, RAMFAC, that he was sacrificing alongside others to make sure that the police was well taken care of. Yet you are still on the highway extorting money from people. That was Chief Abitogun for you. And one particular incident, he was well connected. Some people in our family would not even know how accommodating my big brother was. They are as big as he was as an accomplished administrator who rose through the ranks to become a permanent secretary in the Ondo State Civil Service, and another big man appointed by President Olusegun Obasanjo as a federal commissioner. There were times my brother would come around to pick me in the house in Abuja. Let us have a ride together. And he would say in Yoruba, you must know where I go. And then we'll ride together. But some people will say, it's love-hate relationship between him and me. No. I love my brother like heck. And he himself used to appreciate my courage and boldness concerning some things. But to want to be in competition with him, no, that's a very tall order. A very tall order. And I know he loved me. For example, when I was hot in the line of practice as a journalist in Nigeria, and I was being treated at Federal Medical Center, I had so much money on me, but my brother would not let me spend my money. He got to the hospital management there and said, this is somebody I was concerned for, who had just retired as, what's it called, as permanent secretary, as a civil servant. Where would he get the money? He immediately made a deposit of 20,000 naira, instructing, like the Good Samaritan instructed, that the victim between Jericho and Jerusalem should be treated and everything should be built to him. That's my brother. And when it was time for me to leave the hospital, he came majestically with his, how prestigious it was to own a Mercedes-Benz E-Class in those days, V-Boot. That was what he brought to take me from the hospital, and I was installed in his house. He and his wife took care of me. And from the first wife, Mommy Victoria Abitogun, and to Kabiyesi, the former regent of Emurele, Auntie Lizzie, none of them did not, all of them they always embraced me, which is a remarkable statement on the way our brother wanted us to be treated. And then my brother had a good friend, one Chief Akinluyi, the owner of Humanitex. You remember when what was it called? Shell was dragged before the international court for violations in Ogoni line. The man who came before the international community to say that he was the arms dealer that was selling whatever to whoever the government was using to suppress the Ogonis. Chief Gibi Akinruye, a native of Igbaraoke, you know, we will be in their company. So many places my brother would call me. But if he felt like, oh, Dimeji, you should pipe low, or sometimes we just say, Deji, you should pipe low, don't let our stars be on collision course. Some of us, I mean, for example, if there was a public event where he felt I should not mention the name Abitogun, just operate as a journalist, he would caution me, don't let our stars clash. And then we started calling him Irawola, the big star. And then people would jokingly refer to me as the little star. Maybe Twinkle was not was never part of it. But he was such a great person. You could see him in his frames. You could see through him in his efforts at energizing the community. The shoes he left were so big. Anybody who would be able to match his kind of generosity, the way he united all of us, giving us the consciousness that, reminding us of who we are. Many of us did not know that we were princes of Ijebu originally. He did the research, and wherever he is today is a good place. He will continue to rest in the bosom of the Lord whom we serve. And then we remember everybody that died alongside with him, particularly Dotun Abitogun. He had so much laid ahead of him. And thank God our family is united. We continue to. And at this moment, let me urge Oyinlade, his eldest surviving son, to keep the flag aloft, to keep his father's legacy going. Ifejobi, do not get tired, Feyi. You cannot forget the daughter of whom you are. All of you. Olagbemi, Dunjoye, all of you. Buki, Onidamola, all of you. You must remember that you had a great man. And even Fola Baba Ogbese, the man that was fondly called Baba Ogbese, Fola, I mean, all of you, you must continue to keep the old ideas on. And you, Omoboye, Daddy really loved all of you in a special way. For me, sorry, I'm not atomizing in the order of the way you were born, but please, all of you were important to Daddy, and he had wanted that we would remember that we belong to the same fold as part of the great Abitogun dynasty. We would continue to impact and pass on whatever good we learned from him. That's my brother, and that's what we missed 20 years ago, and we choose to celebrate instead of mourning.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will be today's show. Do us a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Rest in peace to Oga James. Good night.